Hey YouTube, how are we going? I'm back with another video for you guys, and today is a bit of an educational one on Leech and Overleech in Last Epoch. So we're going to talk about those two topics and just give you a little bit of information about how these mechanics work, particularly the Overleech feature, because I think a lot of people aren't actually aware that it's in the game, probably because it might be a bug. In fact, I know it is, but at the moment, ward-based builds are so strong, I don't really want to call it a bug. I want to call it a feature. So we're going to call it a feature. Alright, so first thing is, what is Leech? Leech is pretty easy, it's self-explanatory. And if you look at my character here, basically anytime you do any damage, I'll get my Leech Node over here, so I've got like 3% Leech against cursed targets, if you add those two together. 3% of the damage I do to a target is added to a, what we'll call like a Leech pool. So imagine if I hit this target for 100 and I leech 3% of that, I get 3 leech added to my leech pool, and that leech will be applied at over the course of 3 seconds by default, and then leech rate will decrease that. So if you have 100% leech rate, that'll go down to 1.5 seconds. Pretty kind of like self-explanatory, very similar to how leech works in a lot of different games. And you can kind of see that it is very powerful. I'm just going to drain my health so you can see that there. And if I just press Chthonic Fissure, slowly the leech stacks are built up. Fantastic, works as expected. And what happens here is that when you hit full health, your current health is equal to your max health. Any remaining leech stacks expire. So if you get your if you leech all the way up to full, you go 239, sorry, 2391 out of 2391. As soon as I hit that in one single frame, all remaining leech pool that I haven't healed yet is just dropped from my character. And that's pretty simple. And what that means is that, like, let's say I'm in an arena or like some difficult content, and I heal to full, and then I take a big hit. The second I take that big hit, I have no leech, I have no recovery. And that can really suck, because how you often die in these like high circumstance arenas is like you'll be on full health, so you won't have any leech, you won't have any recovery, and then you'll get hit by like meteor chickens, and like 5 of them hit you all at once, and you just can't recover in that time. So that is a very fair downside of the leech. However, there is something called Overleech, and if you're not familiar with it, Overleech basically means that when you hit full HP, you don't drop your leech stacks. Now, we have that in Last Epoch, but it works a little bit differently. And so how it works is a bug with all items that drain health per second. So that is these 5 sets of items over here. It does not work for health drain, and it's really weird, but there is 2 separate affixes that drain your health. So if you look at Exsanguinous, health loss per second, Shroud, health loss per second, health loss per second, you've got the second affix there, health loss per second, and health loss per second. These items will work. This one over here, the Plague Bearer's Staff, is current health drained per second, so this doesn't work. And so what I mean is, if you put on this, you can drop your health, so this is nice to see. And I'm going to hit Chthonic Fissure, and I'm going to start healing up. And pay attention to my current health and my max health, and see how they are not the same. So, because of that, it means that I never hit full health. I hit just below full health, and then it stops trying to heal me. And it means that I don't drop my leech stacks. So I always have it, and you probably just saw it then, right? So if we heal up, we'll do this Chthonic Fissure. So we're doing damage, we're doing damage, we're doing damage. The ticks are going through. Ticks, 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 ticks. And tick stop. Stay alive. So that delay between that last tick and before I started leeching down, I think I got a bit of leech rate on my gear, means that I can stay, like if I have no leech rate, I've got the full 3 seconds and my leech pool stays active. And that's really strong, because if I do take a big hit, when I do have my leech pool, I'm going to recover very quickly. I'm going to use like my giga damage to give me like a gigantic amount of recovery. And you can just see like how quickly that leech works. So I did a transplant then, and it was like near instant, it was like a single frame my health dropped down from like sub 20% to full. That is OP. So that's the Overleech effect in the game. There's a few kind of skills that do it. Oddly enough, in Ghostflame, this node over here, even though it says health drain per second, it works like health leech. So I'll give an example of that. You can see there 2371 out of 2391, meaning that I have those Overleech, and that's pretty bloody strong. So there is some strength to life-based builds, and especially if you can use this mechanic. I know like Ward's very strong at the moment, a lot of people are building it, but this does work as a alternate method. And if you have like a tier 1 of the experimental affix, that can be really strong if you're a high damage life-based build to throw in there. It's like, yeah, you get some drain, but you get Overleech, so that you can recover like hundreds of health in a single frame if you're doing enough damage. And it means that like your meteor chickens, you can reliably have more EHP because your recovery is so good. In the small amount of time between meteors coming down, it might be like, I don't know, 30 milliseconds, you're actually recovering a decent amount of health. I'm going to talk quickly about why this is likely the case, and it's most likely to do with the coding. And it's just the fact that in a game, we deal with frames, right? We deal every frame, your health is calculated. And what's likely happening is your health is like what it currently is, and then it's going to add all the regen, all the healing, all the leech, put that up to a number, and then at the very last bit, it's going to work out, does your character have any drain effects? Or, sorry, not drain effects. Does it have any health loss per second effects? And if it does, it's going to set that number lower by a portion so that it works out. And it'll use something called del, or delta time, which is basically like the time between frames to work out how much you're actually missing there. So, all in the same frame, it's like you should be healed to full because of your leech, and then immediately it's going to tell you, oh no, you've actually lost some health. So you never actually get to that point where it calculates, oh, you've hit full health, wipe all your leech stacks. And so now we're ended up in a situation where we do have leech. So that's pretty awesome. I don't, yeah, like I said, I think this is a bug, but given the strength of ward builds, use it. I think it's pretty cool. I think it should be like an actual feature, but I don't think it like should be limited to items or anything like that. I hope this helps you with a little bit of your gearing. If you learned something new, just leave a comment down below.